Hi YouTube, this is Joe Calton at Calton Cutlery. You can find us on the web, caltoncutlery.com. I was going to stop with the grinding videos today, but I decided I might want to do one more, and that's on safety. Safety is a big topic for everybody, so it's pretty tough to keep making knives if you're missing fingers or eyes or ears, lungs, kind of important bits, So I thought I'd go over safety a little bit. I don't really consider the grinder to be all that dangerous of a machine. I mean, pretty much you've got a motor that either drives a wheel, or that motor drives a belt that drives a pulley on a shaft that drives a wheel. One or two or even a couple of more pulleys that direct that keep the belt in line with the drive wheel. A platen, contact wheel, square table, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's not like the grinder is a fire-breathing machine that's out to get you or anything. All it does, its whole purpose, is to sit there and spin a belt around. Okay, it doesn't have, although sometimes I do think that individual grinders have personalities, I don't believe that they are out to get you or anything like that, but they do what they do, which is grind, and they do it very efficiently. And they also do not care if they're grinding a knife blade or if they're grinding the end of your thumbs or fingers. They throw dust. I don't think they particularly care whether that dust goes into your lungs or whether it goes onto the floor. All they do is spin that belt and grind. That's it. And I think it's important to realize that, and realize that it's the nature of the machine. The machine's going to do what its purpose is to do, and it's your job to mitigate all the harmful things that the machine can do. Which is basically, don't stick your thumb into a running belt. Boy, let me tell you, it will peel some skin and flesh off pretty dang fast. Because your skin's way softer than steel is. Biggest thing for me with safety with a belt grinder is the biggest thing with me and safety for everything else. And that's your mindset when you step up to this machine. If you're fighting with your wife, worried about your taxes, just in a general bad mood, don't even turn the thing on. Don't step up to it. Go golfing or fish, or do whatever it is you do to put your head back in order the way it needs to be. As long as your head's in a good spot and you're not rushed. Usually when you're rushing is going to be the time where you forget or you make mistakes or you get tired. That's my biggest safety tip, is to make sure you're in the right frame of mind before you even step up to the machine and turn the switch. But as far as equipment for safety, I use pretty much standard safety equipment. Purple earplugs purchased at Walmart, and I think I buy them by I don't know, it's a big old plastic box of them. So we got earplugs, regular old safety glasses, and 3M half mask. This one's just got dust filters on it right now. I don't really get into the non-natural handle materials very often. I do work with micarta and very rarely G10 and some of the other exotics, but most of what I grind is just plain old wood, although some of it is kind of exotic. One thing that I like that I found in Wayne Goddard's book, or one of his books, was the use of the floppy hat. The ugly, well, I think it's a pretty ugly hat. This one's even got snaps, I just noticed, so that you can put the sides up and make it look maybe a little bit less ugly. But anyway, it's got a real floppy brim, and you can see on mine, see how the brim of it's real nice and clean back here, but up here you see all that old grinding dust. These floppy hats really cover the gap in the top of your safety glasses. I don't have a cameraman at the moment, so let's just get me up in front of the camera and hope that you can see it. So you put safety glasses on, and the good ones have got, you know, either side shields or they're molded to go around your face so you get some protection from the sides. But you've got this big old gap right up in here. And a lot of times sparks or grit or whatever can get up inside that gap and still fall in your eyes. Now if you push them glasses up close enough to your face where it narrows that gap down, then the heat from your eyes a lot of times will start fogging the glasses up and you can't see. Or the sweat off your forehead will come down into it, and then, you know, it just then you spend more time cleaning your glasses than anything else. So you usually have to have at least a little bit of a gap there for your eyes to breathe right and for the glasses to stay clean. Well, that's where these hats come in. That hat goes over the top, and now you can see there's nothing can get into that gap in the top up in here. I sure hope you can see this. I'm probably making funny faces, so don't laugh at me too much. I'm trying to save your eyes here. But anyway, that hat right there really helps that out. You could use goggles, I guess, but I never found that goggles were all that comfortable. And these hats, you know, I think I picked this one up at Walmart like 5 or 6 years ago, and you know, it's caught an awful, I mean, just imagine all that stuff right there. And I shake it out pretty, oh, I don't know, shake it out whenever it looks like it needs it. But imagine all of that stuff right there had the potential to fit through that gap in the top of my safety glasses, and this hat caught it. So that's a real nice feature. I think this one was, I don't know, maybe 10 bucks or so. So anyway, that's grit. Your mask and your lungs. You know, like I said, I use these are just pretty much dust masks. If you're going to be grinding a lot of the, you know, G10 or I think that carbon fiber stuff, I've never worked with it personally, but I hear it's pretty rough on your lungs. With those, you might want something that that actually gets chemicals, you know, like a painter's chemical type mask, something like that. Personally, I just usually need just the dust. Also, with your grinding, your style of grinding can have an awful lot to do with how hard your dust mask works. Okay, so first of all, if you keep, this is from my friend Ed Fowler, he suggests that you keep your particle size of your dust in your shop as large as you can for as long as you can. And what he means by that is use a big belt, you know, or a rough belt. Use a 36 grit belt, because the dust that it throws off, the majority of it, the particle size would be much larger because the grit size is much larger. Now, I've never studied the dust in my shop, but it kind of makes sense, you know. And those larger particles will fall to the ground faster and, you know, not be suspended in the air. For ventilation here in my shop, I rely pretty heavily on fresh air. You know, this is a two-car garage, so like here in a little bit I'm going to go ahead and fire up the grinder and grind, I don't know, a dozen knives, something like that. And then I'll have my mask on, of course, and then when I'm done grinding, I'll set the last knife down, and then I'll open up the shop door. And then once the shop door is open, usually I have a breeze. Most of the time the wind comes out of the north and comes into the mouth of the shop. You know, I'll let it come in, cycle out the air, and then take my mask off. Just because I'm not grinding doesn't mean that dust isn't still on the air. I also have a couple of fans. One of them suspended from the ceiling. One of them's on the ground, you know, to kind of blow everything out. You know, one of these days when I get a fancier shop, I'll probably put in one of them high-tech air filtration, you know, with a little vacuum cleaner on each and every grinder, all that kind of stuff. But right now it's just not all that big of a deal. Also wet grinding. Wet grinding will really cut down on your dust. I've got a video on the wet grinding, and I'll probably do another one on it here pretty soon. But you see those tubes? Those are just 1/4-inch sprinkler system tubing for folks to like set up automatic sprinklers for their house plants or patio plants. There's a 5-gallon bucket there inside the stand that's full of water. Has a wet tile saw pump in it, mounted to a switch over here somewhere. You turn that switch on, there are valves up here so I can control which grinder the water goes to, and then it just drips water on the belt at, I don't know, I think it falls into the wheel right about here, and then the water gets tossed out up against the splash shield and then drips down onto the belt. Just a little bit of water really helps turn your grit and your steel or your wood dust or any of that. It really helps turn it into mud, and the mud falls into the bucket, and it falls quite a bit faster, so it doesn't get the chance to get in the air. Wet grinding really cuts down on the dust in your shop, and if it cuts down on the dust in your shop, that means it cuts down on the dust in the air, which means it cuts down on the dust that makes it into your lungs. But anyway, yeah, those are my big safety tips. First of all, if you're not calm, as in not fighting with your wife or worried about anything else, not in a big rush, if you're doing either one of those things, do not step up to this grinder and turn it on. Bad idea. After that, that's your biggest safety system right there. After that, dust mask, safety glasses, earplugs, and the floppy hat helps an awful lot also. And then, after that, remember, don't stick your finger into a moving belt. Don't stick it into, between the belt and the drive wheel. Yeah, don't stick your finger here. Don't stick your finger here. If you've got a pulley system, don't stick your finger in there either. And other than all that, as long as you do all of that, you should be okay. That's my safety tip. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.